Okay, let's get into this. Seoul. You see the skyline, the skyscrapers, all that dazzling modern stuff.
Right. Shiny and new.
But just underneath, sometimes hiding right out in the open, is this incredible depth of history. And the way in, sometimes it's like the least expected thing.
Exactly. Today, we're looking at some material that used something as seemingly mundane, I guess, as an old wooden electric pole.
A wooden pole? Seriously?
Yeah, seriously.
Hmm.
But treats it not just as, infrastructure, but like an artifact, almost like an archaeological find, but just standing there on a street corner.
Huh. Like a little time machine disguised as a utility pole.
That's a great way to put it, a time machine pole.
Yeah.
And this deep dive, it takes us to a really specific, really cool part of Seoul, Ogin-dong.
Ogin-dong. Okay, where exactly is that?
It's in the area called Seoul, sort of nestled right up against Widwangsan Mountain. Beautiful spot.
And it has a history, right? Not just the pole.
Oh, yeah. Historically, this area, especially a part called Cheongpungi, which means clear wind stream, was famous for its natural beauty. Think clear water, cool rocks.
Nice.
It was the place artists loved. But, it also saw its share of human drama, ambition, maybe even some greed over the years. It's layered.
So our mission today, digging into this source material, is basically to walk this path through Ogin-dong.
Pretty much. We're following the clues left behind, the history baked into the landscape, and, yeah, using that wooden pole as our, let's say, unconventional landmark.
I'm intrigued. So what can you, the listener, expect?
Expect a journey, really.
Yeah.
Through history, art, definitely nature, and just human stories. You get to see how these completely different times and lives are just stacked right on top of each other in this one neighborhood.
It's like we're right there walking the alleys with you, pointing stuff out.
Exactly. So grab your virtual walking shoes.
Yeah, right. Let's start the actual walk. The material gives us like super specific directions, almost like a treasure map.
It does. Okay, so you start near Gyeongbokgung Station. That's line 3. You want exit 3.
Got it. Exit 3. Then what?
Head towards Yeojidong. Look for the bus stop there.
Oh.
And you're going to hop on either the 7022 or the 7212 bus.
7022 or 7212.
Okay, ride that bus up the hill. You get off at Jahaman Hill. It's right near the Yeondongju Literature House.
Yeah.
And bam, you're there.
Bam! Where's there?
It's a spot they call Wind Hill, and you'll know it when you get there.
Oh, so?
Well, you step out, and suddenly there's this huge open view, and it's quiet, like really quiet for Seoul.
Nice. A moment of peace.
Totally. It feels like time just slows down a bit. And this spot, Wind Hill, this is where the material points out something kind of profound.
Okay, lay it on me.
Think about this. You've got Gyumjae Jongseon, the famous Joseon-era painter.
Right, painted all those amazing landscapes of old Seoul.
Exactly. And then you have Yeondongju, the poet from the colonial era, much later.
Yeah, writing in such a difficult, dark time.
Well, despite living centuries apart, the material suggests they both stood right here, on Wind Hill, looking out at this exact same view.
Wow. That's a heavy thought. Same view, different worlds.
Isn't it? Jongseon captured Hanyang, old Seoul, preserving it in his art. And Yeondongju, he poured his heart out in his poems, wrestling with his conscience, searching for hope under occupation.
It's like their gazes meet across time, right, in that space, connected by the landscape.
That's the poetic
Okay.
idea, yeah. It's like they're ghosts standing there with you, looking out.
And there's something about a rock there, too.
Oh, yeah, don't miss the rock. So most people see the front, right? It has Yeondongju's really famous poem, See the Forward.
Till I draw my last breath, may I look up to heaven without a speck of shame. That one. So powerful.
Exactly, that gut-wrenching honesty. But the source says, turn around, look at the back of the rock.
Okay, what's back there?
Another carving. Hey, his A.
Uh.
Sad people. Also in his handwriting.
Woo! Hidden message. Sad people. Adds a whole other layer.
It really does. It feels like a discovery. Okay, so following Yeondongju's path, metaphorically, we head down from Wind Hill towards the Jeongun Literature Library.
And this isn't just any old library you mentioned.
No way. It's special. The material says it was built using wood and materials salvaged from traditional Hanok houses that were torn down elsewhere in Seoul.
Oh, that's cool. Upcycled history.
Totally. And it gives the place this really elegant, clear, calm vibe.
Yeah.
The Hanok style just blends beautifully with the library function. Super peaceful.
I can picture it. Wooden beams, quiet corners.
And the real gem, according to the source, is the pavilion, the Jongja. It sounds like the ultimate escape pod from the city noise.
Escape pod. I like that.
So you can just sit there, feel the mountain breeze, maybe sip some tea, read a book, The material says you feel like an immortal as Shinsan.
Okay, sign me up for feeling like an immortal. From the library, where next?
We head down towards the Ogin-dong Valley. Now, this valley is like fundamentally tied into Seoul's whole story. It's actually one of the original sources of the Cheonggukseon stream, that big stream running through downtown.
Oh, wow. So its headwaters are up here.
Pretty much, yeah. And the material has a neat suggestion here. Stand near the Jongmun Tunnel, look at the view now,
Okay.
then pull up Jongseon's painting, the one called Cheonggui-mundo, and try to picture how different it all looked back then. It really connects you to the past landscape.
That's a great idea. Visual time travel. Okay, keep leading on.
So we keep going down towards Changgun Elementary School, and the path changes a bit, and you start finding more little stories just embedded in the place.
Like what?
Keep an eye out for this big rock on the embankment. Looks totally natural, like it's always been there.
Just a rock.
Ah, well, look closer. There's writing carved into it. Chongged Baeksaseong Pum,
Which means?
eternal clear wind.
Pretty evocative, right? Who carved it?
A Joseon official named Kim Sang-yeon. He's known for this famous poem, a CEO Alkach. I'm leaving Samgaksan Mountain. It's all about this deep love for his homeland.
Okay.
And the material suggests that maybe, just maybe, that feeling, that intense connection to the land, it came from this place. From Changpunge, the clear windstream valley.
Huh. So this spot inspired that patriotic feeling.
That's the idea. Old records say Chongtingi was stunning. Deep valley, super clear water, weird, cool rocks. Scholars loved hanging out here, writing poetry, just chilling.
Sounds idyllic, but I'm guessing it doesn't look like that now.
No. Stark contrast. It's really hard to find that old charm today. It's just changed so much.
Yeah.
Dense buildings everywhere.
What happened?
Well, the stream itself, Chongpungi stream, it got covered over. Bukidoyo is the term. Basically, they put a road on top of it.
Oh, wow. Common story in Seoul, unfortunately.
Yeah. And then the whole area became residential housing. So the original shape, the nature, it's mostly gone.
So what's left? Just the rock.
Pretty much just Jeonseon's painting of it, that Baeksaseong rock, and, our imagination trying to piece it back together.
It's kind of sad, but fascinating.
The material even points out specific landmarks tied to people. Like, the house of the late Chung Ju-young, the Hyundai founder, is apparently right at the top of where Chungpungi used to be.
No kidding.
And the site of another historical figure's house, Kim Sang-young, is down that road that covers the stream. History is literally paved over. It's still there.
Layers upon layers. Okay, where are we going next?
We keep heading down the path, past some nice renovated hammocks, towards the elementary school. Then we make a turn towards Ogin-dong proper, past the Seoul School for the Deaf.
Okay.
And then you see it. Something you just do not expect to find on a city street. This absolutely enormous, ancient ginkgo tree.
Whoa. Like how big?
Huge. It feels less like a street tree and more like, the guardian tree at the entrance to some mythical old village.
Yeah.
Really old, clearly.
Must be incredible in the fall. That bright yellow.
Oh, totally. And get this pop culture connection. The material mentions it was in a 90s Korean movie called Beijing Banjium. Yeah, and the source has this fun idea.
Yeah.
Watch the movie, then go see the tree. It's like a Seoul version Interstellar moment. A 30-year time jump right there.
Huh. I like that. A movie-induced time warp. So we've seen views, rocks, this amazing tree. What's next?
Things shift a bit here. We've been enjoying nature's gifts, connecting with artists. Now, the path takes us somewhere different. We're about to face the stairs.
The stairs. Sounds ominous.
Well, it's an uphill climb, winding up between houses built on these raised platforms, leading deeper into Ogin-dong's alleys. And the material basically says, don't chicken out.
Okay, message received. Why? What's up there?
Because these stairs, this climb, this is supposedly where you find the real hidden treasures of the alleys.
All right, bracing myself. We're climbing.
So you start going up. Maybe you're looking down at your feet, the steps, the house is squeezed together below.
Makes sense. Steep climb.
But then the source says, look up. And there it is.
Don't tell me.
Another rock.
Nope. Our landmark. A wooden electric pole.
Ah, the pole. Finally. But wait, look closer. This one's different. It's weirdly short. Only about half its original height.
Huh. Why?
It looks like maybe the base was just left uncut. The source uses the word guy, like maybe someone showed some generosity, some kindness, and didn't chop the whole thing down.
Interesting. So it's leaning.
Yeah, leaning against the old stone walls, the fences. You can see the wood is split, weathered. It's clearly been there a long time.
Decades, probably.
Easily.
Yeah.
Think about it. The material points out this pole has been here since they built these houses. It brought the first electricity, lit up these dark, narrow paths. It's just stood there, watching generations walk by.
There is something kind of moving about that silent witness.
Totally. And this might be the very first old wooden pole you spot on this particular route through Ogin-dong. The source really emphasizes its age, maybe even a century old.
A century?
And here's the kicker. It still has a management number. It's still technically in service. The source just says Chicha, which is like amazing, incredible.
That is amazing. An active duty relic. Okay, what's further up?
We keep climbing that steep path heading towards Inwangsan Mountain. Eventually, you reach a high point.
Better view.
Oh, yeah. Behind you, the green mountain slopes. To your left, this just huge, wide-open view over Seoul. You can even see the roofs of Gyeongbokgung Palace way out there.
Ah, that must be why important people lived here.
Bingo. The view tells the story. Why did royalty, powerful nobles choose this spot? 1, super close to the palace. 2, you've got Inwangsan protecting your back. Prime real estate.
Makes sense. The ultimate power address.
But the material also notes the less savory side of that. Figures described as show and traders, collaborators, people like Yun Deok-young, Lee Wan-young.
Oh, right. Them.
They built their enormous mansions up here too, called Enyo, like these opulent pleasure palaces. Just showing off their power and, well, the source implies their greed.
So beauty and power and darkness, too, all in one spot.
Exactly. But for a moment, just stand there, feel that wind coming off Inwangsan, take in that view, all that history condensed right there.
Okay. Now, from up high, what else do we see?
You notice something new from this vantage point. Down below, there's this cluster of traditional Hanok houses, all nestled together.
Like Bukon Village or Ogin-dong.
Kind of like that, yeah. You wouldn't necessarily expect it right here. And walking down among them, it really does feel like you've stepped back maybe 50, 100 years. Like you're on the set of a historical K-drama.
Cool. But there's more, isn't there? Another layer.
Always another layer in Ogin-dong. Remember that source talking about the valley stream? You're basically standing on top of the rock that formed that stream bed ages ago. And just below where you are, carved into that rock.
Let me guess. Another carving.
You got it. The Oshu-dong inscription.
Oh, shoot. Okay. Who did this one?
The name usually associated with it is Songsi Yewol. Big deal in the mid-Joseon dynasty. Leader of a major political faction, the Seon-noron.
And this carving, was it always known?
Get this? No, it was hidden. Houses were built right over it, and it was lost for decades. Yeah. Then, in 2019, they removed some houses for an urban regeneration project, and boom, there it was again, rediscovered.
Wow. Was it mentioned anywhere before?
Oh, yeah. The material says it was documented. In old records, even a newspaper article from 1959 knew about it. But it was physically hidden.
That's wild. And this Ogin-dong, it was a stream, too.
Yep. This stream, Ogin-dong, and another one called Susong-dong, they both flowed down and eventually joined up to become part of Cheonggyecheon.
Ah, it all connects back to Cheonggyecheon.
And here's that tip again from the source. See a weird curve in a Seoul road where it feels like it should be straight?
Yeah.
$10 says there's an old stream buried underneath.
Good tip. Any other stories about Ogin-dong?
One more really touching one. Remember Kim Sang-han? The guy who carved Eternal Clear Wind?
Yeah, from Big Section Pung Rock.
Same guy. The source tells us, back in the dead of winter, 1614, he came all the way up here to Ogin-dong, searching for spring water.
Yeah.
He'd heard a rumor, or maybe some folk medicine belief, that the water from this specific spring could cure his mother's really severe eye disease.
Oh, wow. A desperate son.
Exactly. And he wrote about it, described the water, said it tasted sweet, didn't smell, wasn't too cold. Just these tiny human details from 400 years ago. It really brings it home.
That's incredible. And Zhongxian painted this, too.
Of course he did. He loved Inwangsan. He has a painting titled Okryu-dong. And looking at it, you see how gorgeous, how wonderful, stylish this place must have been.
Even if it's changed now.
Right.
Yeah.
Maybe you can't find the exact spot for the painting today, but the fun is in trying to find your Okyudong, connecting with that spirit.
Love that. Okay, leaving Ogin-dong behind. Where to now?
We start heading down again, down to smaller alley. Keep that high embankment wall on your right.
Got it.
What do you think we find?
Please tell me it's another wooden pole.
Ding, ding, ding. Another old wooden electric pole. Seriously, you have to ask yourself, how are these things still standing in, 2025 Seoul?
Yeah.
It feels impossible.
Right. But there it is. How's this one look?
This one feels solid, stands really firm, casts a long shadow, like a sentinel that's been guarding this specific spot for ages. You can see the cracks, the history of enduring sun, rain, snow.
Wow, sentinel pole. And is there a story connected to this one too?
Oh, yeah. The material draws a pretty direct line here. Think about it. A pole this high up the valley means electricity got here early,
Which means?
wealth, power. The source connects this pole's location directly to that guy, Yoon-dik-young, the collaborator we mentioned earlier.
Ah, the one who built the pleasure palace.
Exactly. Apparently, he owned pretty much all of Ogin-dong at one point. He was described as a Yun, pro-Japanese, and supposedly accumulated even more wealth and power than the infamous Lee Wanyang.
Seriously. More than Lee Wanyang.
That's what the material indicates. And this whole area, this was basically his estate, his mansion called Bayoksu Senjang. His influence almost certainly meant power lines came up here way before other neighborhoods got them.
So the pole tells a story of power and collaboration. Fascinatingly dark.
Yeah. We keep going down that narrow alley right past where his huge mansion complex would have been.
Anything left of it?
Well, you can see this beautifully restored hammock. The source says it belonged to Yoon Daeok-young's concubine.
Wow.
And it's apparently stunning. Shows his insane wealth, obviously, but also the incredible craftsmanship of the absolute best palace carpenters of that time. They spared no expense.
Must be quite a sight.
And check this out. The material points out another wooden pole right on the path leading to that hammock.
They're like historical breadcrumbs. It's unbelievable.
Isn't it? Okay, so we've walked through Cheongmong, the Clearwind Valley, and Ogin-dong, the Jade Stream Valley. Now we head towards the third stream valley. Seoul Valley. Okay, maybe not as famous a name.
Perhaps not. But the key landmark here, the thing to remember, is that this is where Jeong Sayeon's Gurin Bridge was.
Gurin Bridge. Okay, I've heard of that, but wasn't it lost?
It was. It totally disappeared. For decades, it was buried under concrete under one of Seoul's big public housing projects, the Oki in Sabium apartment complex. Oh man, paved over like the stream.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But good news, when they eventually demolished that apartment complex,
They found it.
the bridge reappeared, came back out into the light.
That's amazing. What exactly was Gurin Bridge?
The material says it was made of these big flat stones called jangseok. And it wasn't just decorative, it was a real functional bridge
For who?
for people.
Yeah.
Specifically, the source mentions the youngin class, or the middle class of professionals, translators, doctors back then, and people below them.
Yeah.
They came to Seoul Valley to hang out, enjoy nature, write poetry.
So the bridge was their access point.
Exactly. It was their key, the
Yeah.
source calls it. It let them connect within Wangsan, enjoy that culture and leisure, not just leave it for the absolute elite. It democratized the valley, in a way.
Wow. From buried concrete to rediscovered key. What a story.
Incredible, right? So let's just recap this whole walk through Ogin-dong, following the material.
Yeah, let's bring it together. We started with this frankly kind of funny idea, finding history using an old wooden electric pole as a guide.
Right. And that led us up to Windhill, feeling that connection between Jeong Seon and Yoon Dong-ju, seeing those hidden poems.
Then down through Cheongpungi, seeing how it changed, finding that eternal clear wind rock, stumbling on that massive ginkgo tree.
Climbing those stairs, not chickening out,
Yeah.
and finding that first leaning sentinel pole.
Standing at that high viewpoint, soaking in the palace view, but also thinking about the power and darkness layered there.
Finding the Hana cluster, discovering the hidden Ogin-dong carving, hearing about Kim Se-hyun's search for water.
Encountering more wooden poles, markers of wealth and influence, and finally ending up at Seoul and the rediscovered Gurin Bridge.
That's just this incredibly dense tapestry, isn't it? Natural beauty, artistic spirit, deep history, political power, wealth, greed, all woven together in these few alleys.
And threaded through it all, these silent wooden poles, standing there through everything, connecting past and present.
They really did become these unexpected guides, just like the source suggested. They weren't just holding up wires, they were holding onto stories.
And this whole deep dive, looking so closely at what the material pointed out, it just hammers home how much history, how much meaning is hiding right there in
Yeah.
plain sight.
Yeah. Anchored by things we walk past every single day without a second glance.
So maybe here's the final thought for you listening right now. After hearing all this,
Yeah.
the next time you're walking down an old street, maybe in your own town, maybe somewhere new, just stop for a second. Really look around.
What are you looking for?
Anything. That weirdly shaped lamppost, that patch of old stone wall, a tree that looks way too old for its surroundings, a faded sign. Ask yourself, could that be a witness?
A sentinel, like the pole.
Exactly. Something that's just stood there silently watching decades, maybe centuries unfold, holding on to stories nobody's bothered to ask about yet.
Waiting for someone to notice.
Waiting for you to notice what history is hiding right outside your door. Okay, let's get into this.